Hello everyone, this is Cody Lee of BlackCatBooks.org, author of I, the Dragon, Cruel and Beautiful, Rabbit Hole, and King Dio. Not to mention the upcoming Lauren Frey. Please check out the website for more information on that. But now, for the moment of truth, for the moment of revelation, the moment that has been building up inside of me, legit, for the past... When exactly did I sign up for Game Pass again? Since before I even signed up for Game Pass, right? The inevitable unsubscription from the service. That's right. I have officially unsubbed from Xbox Game Pass. It has no value. It has no purpose. There is no reason to have Xbox Game Pass. And I really wanted to take a moment to talk about like all the reasons why I'm unhappy with Game Pass and why I'm unsubscribing. And what it essentially amounts to is that the service essentially serves no function because you will always be better off simply paying to own the game. There's no reason to be part of a subscription model for a format like this. For movies and TV shows, it might be desirable because of like how you experience that kind of media. But for games, for something you put a lot of time and hours into, you're going to want to just buy the good stuff and leave everything else alone. And that's kind of what I was experiencing in like the later ends of my subscription service, because I've always known that I was going to unsubscribe, right? Like I was always complaining that I wasn't happy with the service. I didn't like the selection of games. I didn't like the indie games. I didn't like the price point. I didn't really like anything about it, right? But what it comes down to, really, I think, is that there are better alternatives to this service. And by that, I mean buy a Nintendo Switch, get Nintendo Switch Online plus the expansion, and voila, you have access to more and better games than will ever be available on Xbox Game Pass. Because I can't even begin to tell you how much I surf that page. You know, hundreds of games on there, right? None of them good. You have shit like Fallout 3, you have Arkham Knight, you have Dead Space, you have shit like Undertale on there, like you have Soul Calibur 6 was on there for a long time. Like, typically what happens, and this happens all the fucking time, is that certain things stay on there forever, right? Those things will always be available for you for a considerable amount of time, right? But then the flip side of that, the shit you're actually looking forward to play, stuff like Resident Evil 8, stuff like, what was another example? Resident Evil Remake 2, like stuff like that. Red Dead Redemption 2 wasn't on there. I was waiting for that for a while. I wanted to try that out. Games like that, Dark Souls 3, Elden Ring, I'm sure isn't going to be on there day one. Games like that, right? The hotly anticipated games are not going to be on there day one. So really, there's this looming problem where Game Pass has a bunch of sets this standard, this expectation where, oh yeah, certain things will be available on the service right away, immediately. Stuff like The Good Life, stuff like Xbox first party titles, but none of that stuff is any good. Like that's not what anyone is actually interested in or looking forward to. Like one of the reasons I'm dropping the service now is because I was so disappointed with Forza 5 and Halo Infinite. And after seeing all those press releases of Microsoft trying to say that like these are huge success stories, everyone loves them, everyone's playing them, I felt a desire to unsubscribe. Because, no, I did download those games. I did play them a little bit. I did experience what they had to offer, and I uninstalled and moved on with my day afterward. There was no value to anything I was getting there. Like, the best game on the service, probably Hollow Knight. Like, a game you can buy for $15, right? So for a month's worth of Game Pass, you can just buy Hollow Knight and just own it, right? You can just play it whenever on a superior platform, the Nintendo Switch, right? Like there's no reason to get it on Game Pass. There's no reason to pay the subscription fee. Like you're just essentially paying for Hollow Knight every month, and then like a bunch of other stuff you never touch with it, right? Like I would rather just own Hollow Knight. I would rather just own Tekken 7. And in fact, that's another thing that's been happening is that like the games I am looking forward to on Xbox right now, stuff like the Dead or Alive games, those came out recently, like Ninja Gaiden 2. Like I'm pretty confident. Like I saw Ninja Gaiden 2 go on Game Pass, right? Like I downloaded it, I had it sitting on my my Xbox for a while. Actually, it's still there, but eventually the Game Pass availability ran out. So like I downloaded this game, and because it was no longer on Xbox Game Pass, I could not play it. I did not get to experience Ninja Gaiden 2. Now, you can argue that like, well, I should have played it when it was available, but why would I want to wait for it to be available again? Why would I not just pay for it now? And it becomes this thing where it feels almost like Game Pass is a waste of money. I kept finding myself downloading games that I never wanted to play for the achievements, which is another rant video in and of itself. I found myself like wanting to stream stuff that like I hadn't played in a while, like Dead Space, just to show it off and talk about like why it's shit and why people hyped it up back in the day and why what Nintendo does is better. Like there were situations like that. Actually, that was kind of my argument. The only argument I could see in support of Game Pass, actually, like early on, was that like, oh yeah, it's going to make reviewing games on Xbox really, really easy because you're not going to have to buy everything that comes out. But not enough games come out on Xbox to justify subscribing to the service. I've had Game Pass for a while now. I don't know. I don't want to say how long. Maybe about a year. And I'm really not going to miss the service. I think the only game I ever really got into through it was Tekken 7, surprisingly. After like years of shit-talking Tekken, I played Tekken 7 and reasonably got into it. It's still shit, right? Like there is no single player content. You're just playing online all the time. And it gets kind of boring after a while, but I did play a lot of it. I've only just recently dropped it, which I suppose, again, is a recent motivator for me to drop Game Pass, because Game Pass comes bundled with Xbox Live. So yeah, that's another thing I'm losing is like Xbox Live by disconnecting my service. Not losing anything there either. Like I keep forgetting to talk about this. Like I played Dragon Ball FighterZ online, right? On Xbox One for the first time ever, and I was kind of surprised by the low quality of the online gameplay. Like I found the Nintendo Switch version much more smooth, much more playable, much more fun to play. Like the Xbox version was just lagged behind the Switch version. Like I was seeing a lot of frame rate problems and just missing button inputs. Like the buttons wouldn't respond to what I was doing on Xbox, and it was unbelievably lame. It was awful. So uninstalled that. Basically, what I'm trying to say is enough time has set in where like I am very comfortable in saying that like yeah, my first assumption of Xbox Game Pass was absolutely right. I'm always right when it comes to video game predictions and like evaluations of the quality and stuff like that. But in this case, it took me a while to really digest everything Xbox Game Pass was standing for. And eventually I came to realize that I would much rather put my money somewhere else, into a Nintendo platform. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Xbox Game Pass. It's pure shit. It isn't worth supporting. Just buy the games. And I think most of all, and I do think this is the most important thing, we need to let the Xbox brand die, right? It contributed nothing to gaming. It offers nothing of value. There's really no reason for the brand to continue. The only reason I have an Xbox now is specifically for Ninja Gaiden Black. Like I am not even kidding you. The only reason I think I am going to keep my Xbox One in a functional condition, why I'm not going to sell it, why I'm not going to get rid of it, is because I don't ever see Ninja Gaiden Black ever being re-released in its proper form ever. I don't see that happening, and unfortunately, that one game looks like it's going to be completely locked to Xbox hardware forever. It's never coming anywhere else. So unfortunately, I have to stick with Xbox until I finish these Ninja Gaiden games. So yeah, I still have a little bit of more mileage to get out of my Xbox, but after Ninja Gaiden, that's it. I am going full on Nintendo.